No post-game show tonight, but with the kids sleeping, can't talk too loud. But what a gutsy performance by Jacob deGrom. Jake clearly didn't have his fastball, didn't feel it. Didn't seem like it was a blister issue, but as he said in his post-game press conference, you could tell he was at his best in the sixth inning. Buck decided to pull him. He wanted to keep going. They put in Edwin Diaz. And look, we can question decisions. It's always about if they work, they're the right ones. If they don't, they're not. Diaz able to give him 28 pitches, get enough outs to get him deep into the eighth inning with a 5-run lead. Should he have been in the game after the long layoff and the delay or not? One thing you got to realize, these players know their bodies better than we do. Edwin Diaz has had a ton of rest on the stretch of the season. And clearly, he feels like, as he said after the game tonight, he can go more than 3 outs again tomorrow. Got to believe the guy, he knows himself and his arm better than we do. Mick hits, the batting title champ, the squirrel, Jeff McNeil, with another huge hit. Good to see consistent competitive at-bats tonight from Francisco Lindor, including the home run early in the game in the first inning. The polar bear, Pete Alonso, hits the big homer. Nimmo continues to earn just stupid cash, which he's going to get paid, hopefully by the Mets to stay. And now it sets up a game 3. You win, you're on your way to Los Angeles to play on Tuesday night. You lose, and the season's over. Good to see the fight from the Mets. Good to see them not go home, but it's not just to extend to a game 3. Now we'll see what they got. Joe Musgrove is a hell of a pitcher. You saw better at-bats from Soto tonight. You wonder whether or not you'll get even better than that tomorrow. Could he be ready to set himself off here in a game 3? Bassett, the last time we saw him, not good at all, didn't go deep at all. And really a second half that outside of one bugaboo about 6-7 weeks ago, he had been brilliant almost every start. One of the better pitchers in the National League in the second half. Was terrible against the Braves. Max, who was bad against the Braves, did not bounce back. Bassett will have to. Taijuan Walker getting added to the roster with the injury to Joely Rodriguez opens up the idea that obviously it'll be a very quick hook from Buck. For Bassett, I think it'll now be Taijuan Walker over a Tyler McGill, thankfully, and you'd rather that, I think, is that next guy out of the bullpen to have to give them some length. It's a problem the Mets hope they don't have. The Mets hope that their offense maybe in that 7th inning woke up. The runs that they scored will perhaps be a prelude to what they can expect in Game 3, and if they can advance in a Dodgers series where they're certainly going to need it against the Dodgers, who are not going to be held to 1 or 2 runs a game with that kind of an offense. But for the Mets, the season's not over. They looked flat. All of those things that we talked about during the course of the Braves series, and then we saw again play out in Game 1. Well, all those things were erased. The offense seemed to wake up. They got the big hits. DeGrom gave him what he needed. Diaz did what he was supposed to do. And now it's on to a win or go home, 7:07 Eastern Time. Coming up tomorrow, I'll have 2 episodes of Unfiltered. Episode 100, can you believe it? I'll have that one, can you BLEAV, believe it? I'll have that one leading up to Game 3. And then Mark Bowman going to join me covering the Braves to set up the Braves-Phillies series. That'll be episode number 101. So 2 Unfiltered coming out tomorrow. Check them out everywhere you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, and across the board. And I will see you tomorrow. As far as now, it's a good night of sleep for Mets fans. LFGM indeed.